Hi, welcome to the third in my series of Batocera on the Raspberry Pi 4 videos. Okay, in this video what we're going to look at is connecting up an external USB drive to your Pi and Batocera. We got it working up and running in the last video, but now what we're going to do is connect up an external USB drive, which is something, as you know, I recommend to do. We're going to look at the structure of how this works, how we load on different ROMs, etc., just like we did for the internal SD card. Then what we're going to look at doing as well is, as I've spoken about before in the previous video, is using WinSCP in order to load your ROMs, etc., and make changes to your directories, add things on remotely to your Batocera Pi. Makes it easier than having to connect to USB in and have to have the keyboard connected up all the time. And finally, what we're going to do in this video is we're going to have a quick look at getting a different theme going on the Pi. So obviously we started up initially with the default theme, on there. And what we're going to do this time is just load on some different themes, show you how you do that, so you can change the look of your Batocera whole the way it looks, if you're not happy with the default theme. So let's get started and let's get going. What we're going to do now is we're going to have a look at adding an external drive onto Batocera. So first of all, what I'm going to do is I've got a 2 terabyte. I'm just using an old Xbox SSD drive. And what I'm going to do is connect. I'll show you. I've connected up to the PC, and you can just see how it's formatted. And then what we're going to do from there is connect it up to Batocera, and then use that instead of using the SD card for storage of things like ROMs, etc., etc. Just making it easier, as we've covered before in previous videos. If anything ever goes wrong with that SD card and you need to remake Batocera, it just saves you having to rebuild all of your ROM storage and your ROMs. You can just connect the ROM up, point the new Batocera at it, and then boom, everything is reloaded on from there. So it just makes much more sense to use an external drive. So what you can see here is that we've got a local disk drive on here, D, and here it is here. So we've just got it. I formatted it as exFAT. You could do FAT32 as well, I believe, but I've just got it formatted this time as exFAT. There's nothing on it at all, as you can see from the screen behind. It's completely empty. 2 terabyte drive here, but we've got about 1.81 terabyte free. So what we're going to do now is connect this into the Batocera, and then I'll show you how you set that up on the actual Batocera itself. Back to Batocera now. Back to the screen, and what I'm going to do now is just plug in the external drive into one of the USBs. Still got, at this stage, I've still got a keyboard and mouse plugged up as well, just to make it easier. But we're going to go pretty much fully remote at some point. But just now, I'm going to line up the USB and plug it in. Start. We're going to go down to System Settings. I'm using the joypad for this, by the way. So we're going to go to System Settings. Then what we're going to do from there is come down to Storage Device. Storage Device. At the moment we're set on internal. What we're going to do is click on there, and what we're going to do is select the external storage device. Okay. So we can see here we've got 16 meg, which was the we're not interested in that one, but we're looking for this one, the 1.8T. Okay, so that's what we're looking at for our storage. So we're just going to click on that. Okay, and that is now set up for the storage. But what we need to do now is we need to do a reboot. So we need to go back. We need to do a quit. And we need to restart the system. And when we restart the system, what will happen is Batocera will see the extra drive connected there. It knows that's the drive it's going to use for storage, and it's going to set up the folder structure on there that will be required for our ROMs. And there we go. Batocera is now restarted. If you remember, we had some games loaded on this. So let's just go into Super Nintendo there. Back Nintendo, and you can see now we haven't actually got. We had Street Fighter loaded on here, and you can see now that it's no longer there because it's on the internal SD card and not on the disk. So now what we're going to do is we're going to look at how we use WinSCP in order to be able to load on remotely rather than having to load on via a memory stick. So what we're going to do first of all is come back out of here, and we're just going to check the IP address we've got, because that will be important to us. There it is. So in my case, it's 192.168.70.223. Okay, so that's the address I'm going to use to connect up from WinSCP. Right, something I've discovered, and we're going to sort of break here before we go to try to access the external drive via WinSCP. You need to pay attention in your external drive as to how you format that external drive. Okay. The reason being, if you want to use things like WinSCP and SSH into it, you can't format it in external exFAT. Okay, because if you do, the Linux subsystem isn't able to create symbolic links to that external FAT drive, and so thus SSH doesn't work. Okay, you can access via another method. You can access via SMB, which I shall show you along with the SSH. But I like SSH, and I want to be able to use SSH. And if I ever want to just connect generally sort of via SSH into the actual device itself, I want to have that facility. So the problem is, and the thing with Windows, if you're using Windows, you're probably going to end up, if you've got a fair sized device like this, this is 2 terabyte, this Xbox drive, if you end up formatting it with external FAT, you're going to limit what you can do then on the actual device, on the Batocera device itself, and as I say, SSH won't work. So what you need to do is actually be able to format it, and I'm going to format it in ext4 here, which is a Linux subsystem. That's Linux disk system here. So this is the drive here we're dealing with, and when you have a look, you'll see, when we look into it in a minute, I've got it here as exFAT. Okay, and I discovered that when I was trying to SSH into it, it wouldn't work. I returned back to the internal SD card, everything was fine. Go back to this drive, didn't work. I had a little bit of a look into it and discovered, that's because I am formatting it using exFAT. So what I'm going to do here, I've got a program here called DiskGenius, which you can download from the internet to run on your Windows PC. And what we can do then is you can get up here, you can see I've got my external expansion drive here, select the drive that you want to format, make sure you're doing the right one. Because here I've got my exFAT, it's a 2 gig drive here, 108.1.863. And what I'm going to do is select format, and I'm now going to format it using ext4, which is a Linux file system. So I'm just going to do that now and format. It's obviously going to destroy everything on the drive. Now this will mean that when you restart using Batocera again, if you'd already formatted using exFAT or you'd saved anything on it, then you would have to probably do things like reset your your networking connections and things like that. But hopefully, you'll get it. The best thing to do is get it formatted as X4 before you start, and then you won't have that issue. So just wait for it to finish, and then what we can do then is connect it up to the Batocera device and get it set up ready. So you can see now it's all set up here as X4. So let's get this drive hooked up to Batocera, and now we can start. We can use this using the X4 file system instead. Right, now we've got the external drive up and connected, formatted in X4. It's all up and working. What we're going to do now is connect via WinSCP. So you can see I've got WinSCP here. I'm going to double click on it, and we're going to set up our connection. So in this case, I know it's 192.168.70.223. You need to check that on the network screen if you haven't already. And the username is root, and the password is Linux. I'm going to save that, and I'm going to call it Batocera. I could spell it right, Sera. And I'm going to, in this case, I'm going to save the password. It's not recommended, but I'm going to save it. Okay, now we're going to connect. Normally, when we connect, you'll get a message up about SSH keys and saving them. And I normally say yes, but I've already connected to this once before in the past, so I'm probably not going to get it. But no, so I'm straight in. Okay, So what I've got on this side of WinSCP is we've got where all my ROMs are stored, and this side here is the Batocera side. So what we need to do, we're not quite in the right directory here when you hit the defaults. We just need to go up one and then into the ROMs directory. Okay, and that's where you'll find all of your ROMs. So what we're going to do, we're going to put a couple on. We'll do SNES first of all. We'll do something, find something Mickey Mouse. Let's just find SNES. So we need to find the right directory on this side. Makes it easier. You don't have to, you can just drag directly across to the directory, but I'm going to actually go into the SNES directory. Okay, you can see all we've got in here is a Donkey Kong game that it comes with. We're just going to do something, find something with Mickey probably. Here we go, Mickey Mania, that will do. So we just drop that across onto there. Load across. We'll go back up, in my case, and just put another one on. And we'll do, let's find something Yoshi Safari, that will do. Into there, copy that one across. Okay, next we're going to go up. I'm going to put something on, let's do Mega Drive. Just put one game on that for the Mega Drive, just so we can see. Mega Drive. Okay, come up on my side. I'll come out of here because I'm in SNES and go into Mega Drive. Loads here, so I'm just going to pick something. Adventures of Mighty Max, that will do. Let's just try that. Drag that one across there. You can see this in a zip file. So that's it. So that is using WinSCP, and you can just use that for your ROMs, and you can make that connection. Now there is another way that you can connect apart from using WinSCP, and I'll show you. So we're just going to terminate. Just say yes. And we're going to open File Manager. Let me just drag this into the screen. And if we have a look at our network, you'll find here we've got a Batocera on here. So you can connect to that. Username again, root and Linux. And just connect to that. I'm not going to connect my credentials. And here we go. We've got root and we've got share. So in root, you've got Bluetooth settings, but this is not where we want to be for putting on ROMs. We want share, so I'm going to share, and we should be able to see our ROMs directory here. So you can copy ROMs across. I'm not going to do it, I don't think, in this case, but you can just copy ROMs from wherever they're stored across on your computer across to the actual ROMs directory on here. And I think if we look in the SNES, find it. Yes, SNES. Are we? There we go. There we go. You can see the games that I copied on just a few minutes ago in using WinSCP, so you can see where they are. But if I had some directory in a directory here, I could just copy them, do a copy and paste straight across here into the directory this way, and not bother using WinSCP. So you should be able to copy something across like that. But I'm not going to do that in this case. I prefer WinSCP. It's easier to navigate round because you've got both your source and your destination on one screen, and it's easier to jiggle around than using the Windows sort of SMB type of interface. So we're not going to do it that way. So now what we'll do now is we're going to hop back to the Batocera, and we'll have a look at, check those games are there. So, as usual with Batocera, what we've got to do first of all is actually put the games on. So we need to update the games list via the game settings. We just need to update the list. Do we really want to update lists? So you need to do this any time you add fresh ROMs on. Okay. So now we'll go across. We'll find Super Nintendo, and there we go. We've got a couple of ROMs. We've got Mickey and we've got Yoshi Safari. So we'll just try. I don't know if these work. They should do. There's no reason why not. We'll just try running Yoshi Safari and see if that fires up and it works. Here we go. Up it comes. There we go. Yoshi Safari. Okay. That one is running. We'll come out of that. And we'll have a look at Mickey Mania as well. We'll just check that one works. And then we'll go back and look at the Mega Drive one that we put on. There we go, just coming up now. And there we go, running the Mickey one. So that's coming up as well. So it's Mickey Mania's working there as well. So you can see how easy it is with WinSCP just to be able to, if you've got your files loaded somewhere, just to be able to drop them on and to be able to put them into the right directory, ready for you to use your Batocera device. And of course now we're using the external hard drive. So if you get a failure on your SD card, then you don't have to worry about the fact of, oh goodness, I've got to load all my games back onto the Batocera again. They'll be saved. You just repair the SD card, put a new one in, put Batocera on, and then point at that drive, and boom, they'll all be there for you. So let's just actually go and have a little look out, and let's find the Mega Drive one. Pop that on, and there we go. Adventures of Mighty Max. Let's just run that and see if that looks like it's going to run. Don't see again reason why not. You'll find the games sometimes come in different formats. Some are zipped, some are in their sort of ROM format. It just very much depends on the game. I tend not to play too much about them. However they come, that's how I tend to load them on. And they tend, most of the time, they work without any particular adaptation. We'll look at the ones which are a little bit awkward in another video, like the main for the arcade. That's a completely different thing, and that sets up entirely differently. So here we go, it's Mighty Max. So you can just do a start and a play on this one. So there we go. All looks good. So there we go. So that's how you pop your games on with Batocera. And you've got, we've got the extra drive, the external drive working, and now we've had a look at how we can load them on via WinSCP and also via the Windows as well. But again, I prefer WinSCP, and I think that's the way to go. Okay, now what we're going to do is have a look at some themes, just changing your theme if you want a different theme on your Batocera. Okay, so in order to load on new themes, what we need to do is we need to go down here to Updates and Downloads. And you can see in here we've got Content Download and we've got Themes. So we're interested here in themes. We'll cover some of these other bits on another video, but we'll look at themes for the moment. And here we go. When you click on that, obviously you need to be connected to the internet for that. It'll show you what you've got installed. We've only got the default, so it shows nothing. And then it shows all the available ones that we've got as well. Okay, so what you can do, we're just going to pick one here. There's so many different themes and different types that you can use here. I mean, Carbon is one that we were looking at just a minute ago, but we'll load Carbon X. Okay, we're going to have a go with that one. So we'll put that one on and we can just install it. So there we go. Simple as that. That is now installed. We go back up to the top and we can see that Carbon X is installed. So we're going to come back out of here and we're going to go back up to user interface settings. And now you can see we've got ES theme Carbon there. If we click now, we've got Carbon NX. So if we select this theme, okay, there are probably some theme. Oh, you must. Okay, sorry, we've got to apply the theme first. And bang, here we go. We've now got new theme. See, it's pretty much different to what we've just been playing around with, very much. And there are so many different themes. There's going to be ones you like. There's going to be ones you're not so keen on. But it's it's down to you. Again, something you don't like, just go and change it back. So you can just go in again to your user interface settings, set your theme, and you can just go back to your normal Carbon theme. And whoops, just go back, and that changes it back again. Okay, so if you get one you don't like, don't panic. Don't, oh, what have I done? Just come back in, change back to your default theme. Say, and then just come through and find another one. So back in again to updates and downloads. We didn't like that one. Let's say, give it a second to find the themes. Let's just try something that looks completely different. I have no idea with these. Let's just, you can get a bit of a guide here from the star as to what ones, are more popular than others. So Carbon X obviously didn't look like it was terribly popular, but there will be settings that you can play around with there as well. Let's go for Dark Games. Let's give that one a go. Let's install that and have a quick look to see what that looks like. Right, that theme we worked on didn't install for some reason, so we'll go and try another one. What I'm going to do is show you also how you remove one. So if you've got Carbon X there and we didn't want it, you can click on it and you can say remove if you want to, and that gets rid of it. Okay, don't know why that other one didn't work. Let's not try anything too complicated, and let's just try this one. Animatics DX. Might have been that it just wasn't compatible with, because we were on the Pi, it maybe just isn't capable of running on the Pi. So again, we'll try this one, we'll install it, and we'll see if this one works. Right, this one's downloaded and installed there. As you can see there, it's now on the installed tab, so this one's worked okay. Don't know why the other one didn't work, but never mind. So let's just come back out and back up to user interface settings, theme set, and then remember we removed the other carbon one. Just showed you how to do it, and we can now select this one. Oops, it's easy to go up the top to get to the back. And it takes a second, and there we go. We've got a new one there. Got a new theme there. So again, it's up to you. Gives you an idea of the themes, how you download them, how you get to them. They all have their different views and ways of working. So we select this one. You can see here, completely different layout. Gives you some, gives you completely different an idea of how they work. And we'll look at these. We'll look at how you download the information for these games in a separate video, because you can see with Plastic Kong, we've got lots of information there about it, about pictures, what the screen looks like, information about it. You need to download that if you want that for your games, but that's called. We'll look at that in a separate video. So okay, so that's it. We're done for the moment. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope it may prove useful to you, even if only a bit of it, if not all of it. You've just got a problem, and maybe some of this video helps you out with installing Batocera on your Pi. If you've enjoyed it and you'd like to subscribe, that'd be excellent, or a thumbs up, to like the video, or leave a comment. Fantastic. And we'll hope to catch you again on another video soon. Thanks for watching.